Morning, I'm John Austin Jag Garinga,
I'm Roderick Torres.
and we are students from IABF Department of the Far Eastern University, Manila. And today we are here with Miss Asuncion Belleza, the Manager of Cash Department. And we have some lined up questions regarding leadership.
First question, what does leadership mean to you?
Hi, good morning. I'm Asuncion Belleza. I am fondly called Annie, and I am the Cash Department Manager. I also am the concurrent manager of Property Department here at Far Eastern University. Leadership for me means an art of motivating people to a certain goal. For example, in our department, our goal is to be able to come up with to collect properly from students' payments. And as to the property department, my goal there and my team's goal there is to monitor the assets of the university. So for me, leadership is to be able to come up with what is expected from us.
Okay, so the next question is, describe the key actions and behaviors of the person that you've experienced as your best leader.
For me, the best leader would be leaders who are compatible with the tasks that were given to them. As a leader, should be able to practice the skills. So, for example, in my case, cashiering is like being honest with the university, because you are entrusted with the money, usually bulk of money, especially during enrollment. For the property department, to monitor things like computer, from basic computer to high-end equipment, we should be also honest, because there are things that can be brought outside without everybody knowing it. So the key actions and behavior of a leader should be, one, somebody who is honest, and secondly, somebody who has integrity.
Great question.
Are leaders born or made?
For me, leaders should be born first, no? In that case, what I meant was, if you are born to be a leader, anything that you experience, anything that you observe, anything that you can learn, that becomes a made. So if you are born with great skills to be able to be a leader, the process of making you a good leader, that's the process of making a leader. So first, a leader is born, and then he is made. So it's both, for me, it's both born, that's the innate ability to lead, and then your experiences, the learnings that you have, the ability to gain the confidence to lead, that is the process of making a leader. So it's both born and eventually made.
For you, ma'am, what is a role model, and in what ways are role models important for leaders?
Okay, a role model is somebody that you look up to. So, for example, for a father, he is the role model of his son. For a mother, the same thing, could be a role model to her daughter. A role model is somebody who you look up to. So, for example, for me, my role model would be the persons who used to be here, because I think they have set up some practices that is good for the university and the department in particular. So my mind is always looking at people who can, personally, for example, integrity. No? If I look at people with integrity, I would choose, say, VP Robredo, for example. So that being her as my role model, yung integrity comes to work. So, it helps me. So, kapag nasa cash department ako, and I look up to, say, my role model is Roberto, for example, the integrity that I see in her, I try to imitate. So, a role model is somebody that you try to inspire you. So, parang it's a motivation. So, I myself try to imitate her to be a person with integrity. So, when you transform it into the workplace, in cashiering, first and foremost, somebody should have integrity or honesty.
Who are your role models, and their characteristics?
In the workplace, I started in FEU in 1995. So from 1995 up to today, I have my bosses, my previous bosses, and the current boss as my role model. So their characteristics, my previous supervisor used to be, she is called Ate by everybody in the university, meaning she's a kind-hearted person. And then the other one believes that practice makes perfect. So in the workplace, for her, first try should be already the best try. So that's second. And then the current boss today, she is somewhat like, she believes in independent managerial skills. So anything that I do, if I say or if I tell her, "Ma'am, this is the right way, and I think this is the best solution," she goes for it. As long as you tell her the background, as long as you tell her the problem, so she makes things easier for everybody because she listens to the people. So those are the three, I think, characteristics or skills that helps me in this workplace.
So, what can leaders do to help others in the organization see the future?
As a manager, you should not be stuck in the process alone. So for me, I try to learn things outside of FEU, outside of this office. So learning some new things, I think, taking risks. So basically, in cashiering, ang risk dyan is theft. So trying to pinpoint some things that will help us lessen the risk. So basically, learning something out of the office processes. So I think that will help the organization for the future.
What are some of the actions you take to create a climate for change and encourage risk-taking?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier. So trying to coach, for example, last year I think I was able to attend the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is a one-time thing with the managers of the university. So when the seminar was ongoing, I tried to take down notes, taking them by at the end of the seminar. I took time to meet with my group, and parang it's like bringing them to the seminar. So parang sharing what I learned and sharing what I am learning is one way of one way of making them see the future. It's like that, or creating a climate, ano ba?
Climate.
A climate of change. Is that?
Yeah.
So what I try to see in the future, I also share. So parang it's a climate of sharing. Parang gano'n. Basically, kung kasi if you keep them to yourselves, pwedeng ako ready but my staff are not ready, then
Yes.
basically it will not work for the organization. So when you are ready, you share it with your staff down to the lowest level.
So, should leaders let their constituents fail?
If failure is inevitable, meaning nobody wants failure. If it's inevitable, and then what the leaders could do is to learn from that failure. So if that mistake was committed by one of the staff and you try to resolve it with them, together with them, and come up with a solution, for me that is no longer a failure but a part of a learning process. So, pero pag nagkamali ulit, meaning if the lesson was not learned and the mistake was committed again, that's another thing. So for me, I think failure it's not bad. It's just that we try to get the positive out of it and learn from that experience.
How can leaders create a climate of trust and facilitate relationships among people in a work team?
Okay. First, a leader should be, he should be definitive, meaning mag-lay out muna siya ng, this is what I want. Are you amenable to this? This is my goal. This is the goal of our team. If everybody agrees to this goal, then we try to follow everything that parang set up a discipline. So it's a process. We try to follow this process. We are disciplined. Therefore, if that process is fruitful and the staff is following it, I too should follow it. So for me to be able to gain trust, first you should be a good follower also. Mag-set up ng goal, then everybody follows it, pati ikaw. You learn to follow what you have set. Then I think also of a good way to gain trust is to listen to these people. A good listen, not just listen, but you should listen well. So kasi everybody has differences, diba? So meron tayong diverse personalities. If you do not know how to listen to your people, then their actuations would be, ay, hindi naman ako pinapakinggan ni ma'am eh. So listen to them, let them speak. If one idea is good and the other one is better, the group should resolve, and the leader should always be parang 3 steps upward din naman siya. So you try to say, your idea is good, hers is better. So I think we should go for the better one. So parang ganon. You facilitate everything. So talk to them, listen to them. Everything is, I think, will go fine.
The next question is, what are the 3 things that can be done to improve in each leadership practice? What are 3 things that you can do to continue learning to be a better leader?
To be a better leader and to continue being siguro the best leader is I think connected to the first to the previous question. When you try to pick up the good things in your people and do not remember the bad things that they have previously. It's like parang ganito yun. Kung nagkamali yung isang ang tawag dito, isang empleyado, and then later on she did well, ang dapat ma-stick sa mind ng manager is less of the mistake, more on the good side. Although of course everybody in the university follows parang a performance appraisal, no? Of course kailangan definitely this performance appraisal kasi it will contribute to the promotion and everything of a person. So kung nakita mo that this person has improved from her previous situation, I think the leader should be able to bring out that improvement, so that hindi na stuck dun sa ay nagkamali ako and then dito na lang ako. Okay? So to be able to do that, once again, yun nga, an open-minded leader is always the best. So for me, yung ang tawag kasi doon, I think, is synergy. So when you try to talk with each other, be open and open-minded, parang everything goes smoothly. So I think when you stick to that, that goes to answer your question.
So, can you tell us about the time you struggled with work-life balance, and did you manage to solve the problem, and how did you do it?
Earlier this year, actually, this question, talagang it really happened. Early this year, two of my staff, they tried to delay things, no? So I was somewhat, what's happening? So I tried to check on some reports. They will say, ma'am, it's in my desk. I will submit it to you tomorrow. And I think it lasted for about 2 months. What I did was, I was not confrontational. I was not like that. Ever since na I became a supervisor and then later on a manager, I tried to be parang it's not confrontational, but I try to talk to them. So what I did was email of reminders. We have, instead of monthly meetings, I do it weekly meetings, and then send people to help them. Actually, these are 2 of my staff from the cash department. So with this, for me, it's a big help to them kasi the deadlines, namumove yung deadline. So for me, that's still okay. I gave them enough time, enough resources. I even gave them people to help them with the reports. And yet, tapos constant reminder, constant group meeting, no? After about 2 months, they decided to transfer to other offices. So still, I kept my cool. So calm lang ako. I asked them what is the main reason. So then they were, for me, they were honest enough to say we are no longer happy with the office. So the ano there is that, is it me? Is it the other people in the staff? So they said it's their problem. So parang personal problem. So with that, if ako, I think I tried my best giving them everything that I can help with. So with that, when they say we are no longer happy here and it's personal, I think that's the end of the line, no? So I brought it to the sa superior, sa division head, and when we talked, the division head told me, Annie, if people sees it or they are saying we are no longer happy, then I think it's high time that we let them go. For me, I told my supervising or my division head that yes, I agree with you. When people start to say that we are no longer happy, I think we should let them go. So yun nga, when a manager tries everything at my capacity, kumbaga, hindi ko na yun, I can no longer hinder them because it's already personal, no? Kahit na ginawa mo na lahat, and they still want to go, then we let them go. So, isa pang advice is that we do not burn bridges. So, yun din. So, they go to, they went to another office, and now if I see them, we still chat a little, no? Smile at one another because we did not burn bridges. So, hindi kami confront na, bakit ka lilipat and everything, ano na ba, ganyan. So, walang ganon, no, something like that. And I have exerted more efforts than I think anybody else could to refrain from yung parang ipapahiya sila kahit na every report that I ask them to do is like hindi natatapos. So, yun, when it's personal thing, it's in the person itself and you cannot extract anything from him, I think it's time to let go. So, yun, I think I solved the problem, for me, I solved the problem amicably because I think happy naman siya doon sa pinuntahan niya ngayong office.
So, how do you monitor the performance of individual team members, and in what specific ways do you motivate your team?
Okay. Our org chart in the universe is like you have a manager and then under you is a supervisor. So for me, yung staff, a supervisor is monitoring them, and then this supervisor reports to me. We talk about their or her feedback. So to monitor is like every week she tells me that this cashier has this ganyan. So parang gano'n, meron kaming one-on-one situation. So I and the supervisor. And then after that, because we have to fill out a performance appraisal form, I think this is every end of the year. Doon, sinusulat namin on this day, yung mga lang naman, mga major things like, for example, a student wrote a complaint letter saying hindi niyo po ako sinuklian ng tama. So yung mga ganun lang. Because we assume that cashiering is smooth sailing, nagbayad siya ng kung may sukle, you should give sukle. Then give the OR, so something like that. Parang straightforward thing lang siya. So kung merong mga ganon complaint, we make it a point na nare-reflect siya sa performance ng empleyado. And then ways to motivate them, when good deeds are brought in the open. For example, a student says, yung pong cashier nyo is ang bilis pong na-process ang payment ko. O kaya sa property says, uy, yung movement of one equipment to another is very fast. So, ganyan. It also goes to the performance evaluation. Aside from that, if there's a meeting, so aside from a pat on the shoulder, we try to emulate, we try to say, uy, ang galing ni Juan, kunwari, because she was able to move the equipment from one place to another na, and the other department is so happy. So parang ganon. Parang ano siya, what do you call this, dinidiscuss so that everybody in the group knows that ang galing pala niya, parang something like that, no? So I think that's one way of motivating.
So last question, how would you describe your leadership style?
Yeah, my leadership style, I go for yung as I mentioned earlier, it's synergy, yung creative cooperation. When you try to listen to your staff, to your employees, to your group, when you say result-oriented, dun ako if we look at the results, say, ang goal namin is to have 20% of all tuition fees paid within the university, and we were able to do it. So that's result-oriented. Mas dun ako, meaning yung process that we laid in the beginning of the year was able to na-achieve namin. So we were able to achieve it. One also of my leadership style is that I listen to all sides of the story. Diba sabi nga may two sides of the story. Minsan kasi may third side yan eh. So everybody in the group should be able to comment on a story, especially on a situation, especially kung nagmi-meeting na kami. So I think open-minded yung leadership ko, medyo lenient, pero there is always discipline. So yun nga, tulad ng sabi ko earlier, we agree to this goal, we agree to this process, so everybody should be parang moving forward to that goal, moving forward to that objective. Kung medyo nalilihis, we try to coach, we try to pull back, no, para ma-straight pa rin yung linya. So, yun, ang tawag nila minsan doon is creative cooperation. So, we try to listen to our people. Hindi yung, we do it my way. Hindi ganun. Let's do it our way. So, because pag maraming nag-iisip, maraming ideas come to mind, minsan meron yung it brings innovation, it brings better results. Yeah.
That's all.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tatayo na. Okay, so do we shake hands?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good job.